Alright, hi everybody. This is Underrated Entertainment here with you, and I'll just give you a little background of why I'm doing this video. So, last year, based on 2019 tape, I evaluated almost every player in the NFL. And so I feel like I have a pretty good idea of how good each player is, and what I've discovered is that there's a hell of a lot of players that aren't getting playing time that are far superior than the players that they're playing behind. One of those players is Griffin III. Now, Lamar he's proven to be an elite runner of the ball, but I think what separates RG3 is that he's an incredible pocket passer as well. So I just thought I would break down some of RG3's play and just kind of explain to you guys why I think he's still one of the best players in the league, and I feel like he should get a starting spot somewhere, because he's proven that even in his rookie year with Washington, he lit the league up, and so he's a free agent. So if a team picks him up, they can pick him up for cheap too, because he's been a backup for a few years. If a team picks him up, I think that's honestly, you're halfway to getting to the Super Bowl. So here's just some breakdown from his lone start against the Steelers.
Categories. Second down, RG3 will keep it, trying to get to the edge. Categories.
So here we can see, RG3 is known as a running quarterback, right? So, and no doubt that this does add to his value. But notice here how the edge defender here, which I believe is Avery Williamson, the linebacker, he's got outside leverage here on Griffin. But Griffin trusts his speed so much that he can still get to the outside. A lesser quarterback would probably just slide here and basically no gain, right? But RG3 is like, yeah, you know what? I've got the wheels. I'm going to get outside this guy, and
Williams comes up with the recovery for Pittsburgh.
And he hits him with a little hezzy too. So this is why there's little nuanced plays that great runners make that make the defender hesitant as to commit to certain angles in tackling. So he hits him with the hezzy. So that's like a 6-yard gain, which was important. 2nd and 9. Now it's going to be 3rd and short. If he was a lesser quarterback, he would have had to slide, and that's 3rd and long, like way in your own territory. So he's still proven he's got the wheels despite the injuries, right?
At receiver. First and 20 after the flag.
Okay, so here we've got RG3, 1st and 20, so he knows that he's going to have to make at least 10 yards in the next pass to get anywhere near getting a first down eventually. So it's an aggressive formation, an empty set. So, and the Steelers are showing pressure to the point where the blockers is going to be one-on-one. So he's going to have to trust his blockers to give him enough time to get the ball off. So it's pretty soft coverage, which makes sense on the 1st and 20. So chances are he's just going to have to find a receiver that's isolated against his man. So when you see these routes unfold, so this is just a quick out, but what makes Griffin great is that he doesn't really show his hand immediately when he's sitting back in the pocket, right? So here he is coming back. Notice that when he receives a snap, the first few steps of the drop back, he's just looking straight ahead. So this is what the best quarterbacks do, is because they can see what the safeties are doing by doing this. And it doesn't show where he's planning to throw the ball, but I think based on the pre-snap read, the coverage is weakest on Griffin's left side, right? and Griffin knows the route concepts that are being run here. So as soon as he finishes his drop, which is highly efficient, he's obviously trained very hard to make sure that his drop is as efficient as possible to where he can launch the ball easily. He recognizes that that soft coverage meant that number 20 here on the Steelers is going to be giving up this quick out. And Griffin just, enough power, right on the numbers, hits the receiver. So we'll run this play again. So notice again, so this outside receiver is just running a go route, which frees up space for the underneath. Simple concept, but if Griffin had have just been looking at his slot receiver from the start, Sutton here might have just pressed up on him, and the pass would have been difficult to complete. Nice. Okay, here, so again, Griffin's mobility means that it can throw out the defense, especially the run defense. So Griffin just receives the snap. And interesting, I kind of like this interesting concept of using the back as a designated blocker. So this is what makes the Ravens pretty difficult to defend, is that they throw in, players seem pretty versatile. You've got a sweep here distracting some linebackers. I mean, this player here, I believe that's Terrell Edmonds, is already kind of out of position to make any play against this run because of that sweep. So we've got Griffin getting to the outside. Nice little running lane opened up by his blockers, and then Griffin's just smart, a little bit shifty, but notice him cradling the ball. That's going to reduce the amount of fumbles that he has. You'd probably like him not to take those hits to his legs. Maybe if he was a little bit more athletic, he could have hurdled here. I mean, that's asking a lot of a player. But if a player's obviously about to hit him low, having a hurdle into the end zone would be nice. But still, he's cradling the ball. Great ball security, and that's a first down.
It is first and 10 from the 24. And Griffin throws, and it's
bit of a bunch set, so his receivers are pretty close to the line of scrimmage. So chances are that some sort of wheel route down the field might be open, especially because he's got speedy receivers like Marquise Brown here. The pre-snap formation of the defense doesn't show too much pressure. In fact, TJ Watt's standing up here, so he might be covering the tight end. And yes, it's only a 4-man rush. So Griffin steps back. It would have been nicer, I think, at this point if he was maybe a step forward in the pocket, just noticing where the pressure's coming from the outside straight away. But nonetheless, Griffin steps up. He's got pressure from behind, which he notices, so he knows he's got to get the ball out quick, and he does with pretty good accuracy. I feel like Brown could have made this catch. Little tiny details like just noticing the ball. Brown noticing that the ball's just a little bit in front of him. I just feel like he could have got there. Griffin's making the best possible play he can, getting the ball where he needs to. I mean, Marquise Brown here is matched up with TJ Watt. One of the fastest receivers in the league against a player I think is probably best as a D and a 4 tech, So I think this is great analysis of coverage here. Stepping up, notice how Griffin's got the ball, holding the ball with 2 hands. Great ball security. And just a slight miss, but the defense has to worry here. Griffin can make plays down the field, so that combined with his ability to just throw quick passes short and his running, that's tough to defend. Okay, so this play is a sack, but it shows Robert Griffin's ability. Okay, so we'll roll the tape. Oh dear. Griffin gets let down here. I'll roll it again just to watch, just frame by frame. So Luke Wilson, the tight end, should have chipped on Watt here. You know, the priority is to be able to get the ball out. So even if you're releasing out into the into your route, you've got to make sure the pressure is mitigated. So it was a comedy of errors here because Wilson doesn't chip on Watt, or at least block him for a bit. So therefore, the running back and the right tackle is in a bit of a bind. You would probably prefer the tackle to block the D end in Watt here, and then the running back pick up the blitzing safety in Edmonds. But basically, they all commit to Edmonds. Watt has a free run at Griffin, and it's a sack. But RG3 is just a high awareness player. Takes the snap. Ideally, he'd probably see the pressure a bit sooner and wheel out to his right. But he's already looking off to his left a little bit here. But nonetheless, out of his peripheral vision, he sees Watt coming, and he starts sliding left. So even if there was a little bit of blocking help, RG3 could have gotten a pass off. And he still almost escapes this rush, which is extremely impressive. Holding the ball with two hands, takes a sack. It looks like the Washington team is going to limit dump-offs, okay? So Griffin knows that if there's any weakness in the defense, it's going to be on the perimeter. So he's got Marquise Brown on the outside, so a deep route could be on the cards here. Right?
For Robert Griffin III.
So Griffin takes the step back. Indeed, the linebackers drop off, so there's going to be nothing short. So Griffin just steps back in the pocket, steps up to be able to throw with power. He's got some interior pressure, but he steps up into it anyway and gets a pretty decent pass off. And in this situation, it's just one-on-one. The receiver knows what he's doing, so he's probably got a leg up over the defender. But unfortunately, Marquise Brown just doesn't quite get the reach to grab the ball. And Kendall Fuller is a really good player, and he makes the catch instead. But, 2nd and 17, RG3's got to put his team in a position to get a first down, and this was just a good chance. So unfortunately, this is just a case where the receiver's got to make a play, and he didn't. But it's not on the quarterback. So yes, the stats will show RG3 gave away a pick, in a limited opportunity, but he's putting his team in the best possible position to win.
Intercepted. Was he in bounds?
Okay, so there's a little breakdown of why I still think RG3 is one of the best players in the league, and if he was starting somewhere, I feel like he would be the best quarterback in the league. So someone's got to give him an opportunity. I mean, he's 31 years old, so you might see a little bit of decline as far as his physical ability. But I still, he's the kind of guy, he's got the ability to play into his 40s just because he's smart. He knows what he's doing. So I'm interested to see if the Ravens bring him back. Trace McSorley has shown some flashes, so he might be the designated backup behind Lamar Jackson. So RG3 might be going elsewhere, but honestly, if your team picks up RG3 and gives him some starts, I honestly think that your team is going to be drastically improved. So fingers crossed for your team, and thanks for watching. 3rd and 4, empty set, which is asking a lot, I believe, of the quarterback. I mean, it's interesting to spread them out. I think maybe the strategy here is because RG3 is such a good runner that even if there is pressure, he's going to be able to escape. So that puts pressure on the linebackers, because they're going to have to worry about the dump-offs in the short zone, but also worry about RG3's legs. So let's see how RG3 processes this play. So he doesn't. So these players here displaying a little bit of pressure, the linebackers. So there could be a 6-man blitz, in which case he'd have to get the ball out quickly to the slot guys, most likely. But if the pressure drops off, then his best bet might be just going deep with the outside guys, because it looks like the safety here, Minkah Fitzpatrick, is pressuring up a bit. But then again, he could wheel out. So there's a lot of decisions RG3 is going to have to make in a short space of time. So let's see how he goes.
MVP of the league a year ago. 3rd and 4. Griffin's throw is an interception. That was an
Not so good.
for the touchdown, Joe Hayden.